In a significant move with far-reaching implications, Mexico has taken a bold step towards de-dollarization by signing an agreement to join the BRICS nations. President Andrés Manuel López Obrador has emphasized that the United States needs Mexico more than Mexico needs the US, signaling a potential shift in the balance of power and a challenge to the dominance of the US dollar. The BRICS countries, consisting of Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, have been at the forefront of efforts to establish a multipolar world order and reduce the influence of the US dollar in global trade and finance. Mexico's decision to join this group reflects its growing dissatisfaction with US policies and its determination to pursue an independent path. The move towards de-dollarization has gained traction globally as more countries seek alternatives to the US dollar. The traditional dominance of the dollar as the global reserve currency has allowed the United States to exert significant influence over the global economy. However, this has also created vulnerabilities and dependence for countries that rely heavily on dollar-denominated transactions. Mexico's decision to pursue de-dollarization comes at a time when the United States is facing criticism for its unilateral actions and attempts to use the dollar as a tool for geopolitical influence. President López Obrador has been vocal about the rude pressure from the US on issues such as fentanyl and has sought closer ties with China as an alternative to the strained relationship with its northern neighbor. The growing economic and political ties between Mexico and China have played a crucial role in Mexico's decision to join the BRICS nations. The two countries have deepened their trade relationship, with China overtaking the United States as Mexico's top trading partner. The US-Mexico trade disputes and US pressure on Mexico have further pushed Mexico towards seeking alternatives. Mexico's frustration with the United States extends beyond trade issues. The country has criticized US intervention in its affairs and has called for greater autonomy in decision-making. President López Obrador's letter to US President Joe Biden highlights Mexico's desire for a more balanced and respectful relationship. The implications of Mexico's de-dollarization efforts and its bid to join BRICS are significant. If successful, it could lead to the establishment of a new reserve currency and a shift away from the US dollar as the primary medium of exchange in international trade. This could challenge the dominance of the United States and have far-reaching consequences for the global financial system. One of the key developments in this direction is the establishment of the BRICS New Development Bank, which aims to provide an alternative to existing financial institutions dominated by the West. The inclusion of Mexico would bring a significant boost to the bank's resources and enhance its capacity to fund infrastructure projects and promote economic development in member countries. While de-dollarization and the formation of a new reserve currency are ambitious goals, challenges and skeptics remain. Critics argue that the US dollar's position as the global reserve currency is deeply entrenched and that any attempts to change the status quo will face significant hurdles. Moreover, the potential consequences of de-dollarization are not without risks. Some experts argue that the US could respond with economic measures, such as sanctions or trade disputes, to protect its interests. There are concerns that an intensified economic conflict between Mexico and the US could lead to negative consequences for both countries and destabilize the region. Another concern is the potential impact on global financial stability. The US dollar's status as the world's reserve currency has provided stability and liquidity to the global financial system. A sudden shift away from the dollar could create volatility and uncertainty, particularly in emerging markets. However, proponents of de-dollarization argue that a more balanced and multipolar world order is necessary to ensure fairness and reduce global economic imbalances. They argue that the over-reliance on the US dollar has allowed the United States to exert undue influence over global financial institutions and use its currency as a weapon in geopolitical conflicts. De-dollarization, they contend, would promote a more equitable distribution of power and create a more stable and resilient global financial system. For Mexico, joining BRICS and pursuing de-dollarization offers several potential benefits. Firstly, it provides the country with a platform to diversify its economic partnerships and reduce its dependence on the United States. By strengthening ties with other BRICS nations, particularly China, Mexico can expand its export markets and attract new investment opportunities. This diversification strategy could enhance Mexico's economic resilience and reduce vulnerability to fluctuations in the U.S. economy. Secondly, de-dollarization could help Mexico mitigate the impact of U.S. financial sanctions. The United States has frequently used its control over the dollar-dominated financial system to impose economic penalties on countries it deems as adversaries. By reducing its reliance on the dollar and promoting the use of alternative currencies or payment systems, Mexico can shield itself from potential U.S. sanctions and enhance its economic sovereignty. Furthermore, de-dollarization aligns with President López Obrador's vision of pursuing a more independent and sovereign foreign policy. By joining BRICS and actively participating in efforts to establish a new reserve currency, Mexico can enhance its diplomatic influence and position itself as a key player in shaping the future of the global financial order. This could provide Mexico with more leverage in international negotiations and increase its autonomy in decision-making processes. However, Mexico's journey towards de-dollarization and its bid to join BRICS is not without challenges and potential drawbacks. One of the primary concerns is the risk of destabilizing its relationship with the United States, which remains Mexico's largest trading partner. While President López Obrador has asserted that the U.S. needs Mexico more than Mexico needs the U.S., any major disruptions in bilateral trade and economic ties could have severe consequences for Mexico's economy and its population. Moreover, the process of establishing a new reserve currency and reducing the influence of the US dollar is complex and requires extensive coordination and cooperation among participating countries. Building consensus among the BRICS nations on key issues such as the choice of a new reserve currency, the governance structure of financial institutions, and the integration of new members like Mexico can be challenging and time-consuming. Another significant challenge is the potential impact on domestic economic stability. De-dollarization involves significant changes in financial systems, currency management, and monetary policies. If not managed effectively, the transition could lead to currency volatility, capital flight, and inflationary pressures. Therefore, careful planning, coordination with relevant stakeholders, and robust policy frameworks are necessary to ensure a smooth and successful de-dollarization process. The success of Mexico's de-dollarization efforts and its bid to join BRICS will depend on several factors. Firstly, Mexico will need to strengthen its economic ties with other BRICS nations, particularly China, which has emerged as a global economic powerhouse and a key player in de-dollarization initiatives. Closer economic cooperation and increased trade will not only provide Mexico with alternative markets, but also contribute to the development of a robust financial ecosystem that supports de-dollarization. Mexico will need to navigate the complexities of transitioning its financial systems and monetary policies away from the US dollar. This requires careful coordination with other BRICS nations and the development of mechanisms for conducting cross-border transactions in alternative currencies. Additionally, Mexico will need to build domestic confidence in the new currency and reassure investors and businesses that the transition will be smooth and beneficial in the long run. Furthermore, it is crucial for Mexico to maintain a balanced approach in its foreign policy and economic relations. While pursuing de-dollarization and seeking alternative partnerships, Mexico should strive to preserve its existing economic ties with the United States. A healthy and mutually beneficial relationship with its northern neighbor remains essential for Mexico's economic stability and prosperity. Therefore, Mexico should explore avenues for constructive engagement with the United States, fostering dialogue and cooperation on areas of common interest. The international response to Mexico's de-dollarization efforts will also play a significant role in shaping its success. The United States, as the issuer of the dominant global reserve currency, may view Mexico's actions as a challenge to its economic and geopolitical interests. Consequently, it is essential for Mexico to engage in open and transparent communication with the United States and other key global stakeholders, emphasizing its commitment to stability, economic cooperation, and a multipolar world order. In conclusion, Mexico's decision to sign for de-dollarization in its bid to join BRICS reflects its growing dissatisfaction with U.S. policies and a desire for a more balanced and independent foreign policy. By seeking alternatives to the U.S. dollar and strengthening economic ties with other BRICS nations, particularly China, Mexico aims to reduce its dependence on the United States and foster a multipolar world order. While the path to de-dollarization and joining BRICS presents challenges, such as managing the transition, preserving economic stability, and balancing relationships with the United States, it also offers potential benefits, including diversification of economic partnerships, protection against U.S. sanctions, and enhanced diplomatic influence. The success of Mexico's de-dollarization efforts will depend on effective coordination with BRICS nations, international support, and the ability to maintain stability and prosperity during the transition. As Mexico takes this significant step towards de-dollarization and strengthening its ties with BRICS, it joins a growing global movement seeking alternatives to the US dollar. Whether this movement will fundamentally shift the global financial landscape and challenge the long-standing dominance of the United States remains to be seen. However, it signifies a significant shift in the dynamics of global economic power and highlights the increasing desire of nations to assert their sovereignty and pursue a more multipolar and inclusive world order.